So I've been wanting to make this video for a while because some of my friends and people that I talk with have been wondering like what my family heritage is like. And it is a little complex. I only know most of it on my dad's side and everyone related to my dad. I know most of their side is like, but the thing about on my mother's side I don't know about because she was adopted, so I don't even know what her side would be like. I never took a DNA test, but my father has, and I can come up with the results he's talked about. But then again, I don't really talk with my mother. I made a previous video about that, but people were trying to use it against me in the wrong way. But I just want to make this video to talk about my family heritage to a certain extent. And one of the first Sedwicks that came to the United States, I can't think of his actual name, but it was something in Russian. Everyone in my family just called him Pa Sedwick. I think he came over from one of all those countries that used to be part of Russia. I think it was the country of Georgia that was part of Russia, but it got so bad that he had to leave from there and come over like to the United States from Russia, because Russia was getting so bad, like even all those countries that were under it, like they were taking food away from the people, and it got so bad where, because he had to leave at 13 years old, and I think it was Pa Sedwick came over and settled in Canada at first, and then he moved to the United States to live permanently. And since he was 13 years old at the time, then he had to get his last name, because our original last name would have been Sarah Duke, but it had to get changed to Sedwick so they wouldn't look for him over here or anything. And then that's when Pa Sedwick met his soon-to-be wife at the time. We all called her Ma Sedwick. I think her family kind of mostly grew up in Canada. She was part French and part Native American, and I gotta tell you, from all the stories everyone told me about Ma Sedwick and the family, she was a wild one, and that'll be for another video because she was quite bad. And then they had George Sedwick, or everyone called him Bub in our family, and then they had another child, I can't think of his name, and then as Bub Sedwick got growing up and stuff, and then he met Pauline. So, and then I think she was part German, or no, I think Pauline, then Sedwick was like, yeah, her family was mostly German or something, and then they had a son together, my grandpa, Donald Norman Sedwick, but everyone called him Joe because he got his nickname Smoking Joe when he was a little boy, because Ma Sedwick used to let him smoke cigarettes when he was a little boy. And yes, he was always a jokester in a lot of things, and he used to tease the hell out of my grandma, Margret Saunders is what her original name was before she got married to my grandpa, and then they had 4 children. My dad, Kirk Sedwick, and then my aunt Jodie Sedwick, then Kraig Sedwick, or how most people call him Tiger, because when he was a little boy he was so wild, and then their other son that they ended up having, Justin, was actually more or less a surprise. So, and my grandma was part German, mostly to a certain extent, and then I think she was also part, I want to say British, but I'm not exactly sure if it was the English type or just British, if she was part German, British, and then I think she was also Irish too, from what she told me on some of her family side, and then I don't know exactly what my history was, but then my dad had children that was like with Because then my dad had, first it was Donald Sedwick. His full name was Donald Joseph Sedwick, my oldest brother. And then my dad had Amber Sedwick and then after Amber was Cole Sedwick, who, well, actually, me and my siblings, we all have the same dad but different moms, but Cole and Amber have the same mom and dad. And then after Cole, it was me. And then I think my dad was the only one who took the DNA test. And so far, for the most part, my dad's results that came back from the DNA test that he took, like the ancestry thing, 40% British, and then it was a lot of French, a lot of Irish, and then we aren't as Russian or German as we thought, like 11% German and then 8% Russian. And as I said, like, Pa Sedwick originally came over from Georgia when it was still part of Russia, and so technically we are a type of Russian, even though all those countries are their own independent countries now and stuff when the Soviet Union fell. But I think it was, like I said, in the 1800s, like maybe when the Zars were still in power, when Pa Sedwick came over, but I'm just explaining. Because even before my dad took that DNA test and stuff, we all thought we were originally going to be mostly Russian, German, and Native American, but we were quite surprised with the results that came back. And even though I think my cousins, like Jodie Sedwick's children, Matt Sedwick and Maria Sedwick, well, that's not actually their real names. Their actual real names are Fatinelli. They're mostly part Polish and Italian. And my Uncle Justin, he got married to this Blair Sedwick. Well, I think her last name was McDowell before she got married to Justin. And then they had part white and part black children together, and for the most part they seem pretty happy. And if I ever get the chance to take a DNA test, I'd like to know the results. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and for all my friends who were wondering about my family heritage, I hope that kind of covered it up for you. And it was quite interesting to make this video because I've been wanting to make it, but I'll make another video if I take another DNA test myself, even though I haven't taken one just yet. But if I have any more information to make on it, I'd like to make it. So hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope to make another one like this one. So I'll see you in the next video.